Have you ever woken up in the morning, tried to get out of bed, and felt that familiar sting of arthritis pain shooting through your joints? That stiffness that makes even the simplest tasks feel like climbing a mountain? I've been there too, and today I'm going to share something that changed everything for me, and it might just do the same for you. If you're tired of living with arthritis pain, of trying medication after medication with disappointing results, or feeling like you're just not getting the whole story from your healthcare providers, you're in the right place. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on 3 remarkable plant-based proteins that are scientifically proven to reduce arthritis inflammation and pain. Proteins that, for whatever reason, rarely come up in the average doctor's office. Think about this. What if the solution to your joint pain has been sitting in the grocery store all along? What if relief doesn't have to come from a prescription bottle with a list of side effects longer than your shopping list? I discovered these 3 plant powerhouses during my own struggle with rheumatoid arthritis. After years of prescription medications that left me feeling worse in some ways than the arthritis itself, I started researching alternatives. What I found changed my life, and thousands of others who followed the same path. Now, before we dive in, I want to be clear. I'm not suggesting you throw away your doctor's advice or stop your current treatments. What I am suggesting is that you might be missing out on some incredibly effective natural supports that can work alongside your current approach, or potentially reduce your need for certain medications over time. So, let's talk about protein, specifically, 3 plant-based proteins that have demonstrated remarkable anti-inflammatory properties that directly target arthritis pain and swelling. The first arthritis-fighting protein superstar is hemp seeds. Now, let me clear something up right away. Hemp seeds won't get you high or cause you to fail a drug test. They're completely legal and contain virtually no THC. What they do contain is one of the most perfectly balanced protein profiles in the plant kingdom. Hemp seeds provide all 9 essential amino acids your body needs but can't produce on its own. This makes them a complete protein, something rare in plant foods. But what makes hemp seeds particularly powerful for arthritis sufferers is their perfect 3-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids. This perfect balance creates a powerful anti-inflammatory effect, targeting the exact type of inflammation that causes arthritis pain. One study from the Journal of Arthritis and Rheumatism found that participants who consumed hemp seed oil for 12 weeks experienced a 25% reduction in pain compared to those taking placebo. But here's what's really interesting. When researchers looked at the blood work of those consuming hemp seeds, they found significantly lower levels of C-reactive protein, a key marker of inflammation in the body. Simply put, hemp seeds were actually changing the biochemistry that drives arthritis pain. So how do you incorporate hemp seeds into your daily routine? It couldn't be simpler. 3 tablespoons provide about 10 grams of protein and a healthy dose of those inflammation-fighting fatty acids. I sprinkle them on my morning oatmeal, blend them into smoothies, or toss them on salads. They have a mild, nutty flavor that works with almost anything. One of my favorite quick recipes is a simple hemp seed energy ball. Just combine a cup of hemp seeds with half a cup of almond butter, a quarter cup of honey, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. Roll the mixture into small balls and refrigerate. They make the perfect protein-packed snack that fights inflammation with every bite. Now, let's move on to our second plant-based protein superhero, spirulina. If you've never heard of spirulina, you're not alone. This blue-green algae isn't exactly a household name, yet it's been used for centuries as a source of nutrition and healing. Spirulina is about 65% protein by weight, making it one of the most protein-dense foods on the planet. But what makes it especially valuable for arthritis sufferers is a unique compound called phycocyanin. Phycocyanin is what gives spirulina its distinctive blue-green color, and research published in the Journal of Medicinal Food has shown it inhibits the production of inflammatory signaling molecules called cytokines. These are the exact same targets as many prescription arthritis medications, but spirulina accomplishes this without the side effects. A clinical trial from the University of California found that participants with rheumatoid arthritis who took spirulina daily for 3 months reported a 40% reduction in pain and stiffness. Even more impressive, over half of the participants were able to reduce their dosage of pain medication. I know what you might be thinking, algae? Really? I was skeptical too until I tried it. Admittedly, spirulina has a distinctive taste that takes some getting used to. The easiest way to incorporate it is to add a teaspoon to a fruit smoothie where the sweetness masks the flavor. Start with a small amount, about half a teaspoon, and gradually work your way up to 1 to 2 teaspoons daily. My breakthrough moment with spirulina came when I created what I now call my joint renewal smoothie. I blend a frozen banana, a cup of blueberries, a tablespoon of hemp seeds, a teaspoon of spirulina, and a cup of almond milk. The fruit completely masks the spirulina taste, and within weeks of drinking this daily, I noticed my morning stiffness had decreased dramatically. Our third plant-based protein powerhouse might surprise you: pumpkin seeds. These unassuming little seeds are more than just a fall snack. They're packed with a unique combination of nutrients that directly target arthritis pain. Pumpkin seeds contain about 7 grams of protein per ounce, but their secret weapon against arthritis is their exceptionally high levels of magnesium and zinc. These two minerals play crucial roles in reducing inflammation and supporting joint health. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people with the highest intake of magnesium had 44% lower levels of inflammatory markers in their blood. Zinc, meanwhile, has been shown to help regulate the immune response that drives rheumatoid arthritis. But pumpkin seeds offer something else remarkable. They're one of the best plant sources of tryptophan, the amino acid your body uses to make serotonin. Why does this matter for arthritis? Because serotonin plays a key role in pain perception. Higher levels can actually increase your pain threshold, making you less sensitive to the discomfort of arthritis. A study from Tufts University found that arthritis patients with higher serotonin levels reported significantly less pain than those with lower levels, even when their physical inflammation markers were similar. In essence, pumpkin seeds may help change how your brain processes pain signals from your joints. Adding pumpkin seeds to your diet is simple. A quarter cup provides about 8 grams of protein along with those crucial minerals. I keep a container of roasted, unsalted pumpkin seeds on my kitchen counter and grab a handful as a snack or sprinkle them on soups, salads, or roasted vegetables. One of my favorite arthritis-fighting snacks is what I call super seed crackers. I mix pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds, and a bit of oat flour with water, press the mixture thin, and bake until crisp. They're delicious with hummus or avocado, and each cracker delivers a powerful dose of anti-inflammatory nutrients. Now that we've covered these 3 remarkable plant proteins, let's talk about how to incorporate them into your daily routine for maximum benefit. I found that consistency is key. These aren't quick fixes, but rather foods that, when consumed regularly, help shift your body toward a less inflammatory state. I recommend starting with one of these foods and adding it to your diet daily for a week before introducing the next one. This gradual approach serves 2 purposes. It helps you identify which foods provide the most benefit for your unique body, and it prevents the overwhelm that can come from trying to change too much at once. Week 1. Focus on hemp seeds. Add them to foods you already enjoy. Sprinkle them on yogurt, oatmeal, or salads. Week 2. Introduce spirulina, starting with small amounts in fruit smoothies. Week 3. Add pumpkin seeds as a snack or topping for meals you already eat. By the end of the month, you'll be regularly consuming all 3 of these powerful plant proteins, and many people begin noticing changes in their pain and stiffness levels around this time. But there's something else I want to address: the mental and emotional toll of living with chronic arthritis pain. When you're in constant discomfort, it affects every aspect of your life. Your sleep suffers, your mood darkens, and your relationships can strain under the weight of your pain. This is why finding relief isn't just about physical comfort, it's about reclaiming your life. It's about being able to play with your grandchildren without wincing, or enjoy a walk with your spouse without counting the minutes until you can sit down, or simply waking up in the morning without that feeling of dread about facing another day of pain. I remember the first morning I woke up and realized I hadn't thought about my arthritis yet. I had gotten out of bed, made coffee, and was halfway through breakfast before it hit me. The usual morning stiffness and ache had faded to the background. It wasn't completely gone, but it had diminished to the point where it wasn't the first thing on my mind anymore. That moment of realization brought tears to my eyes. Now, let's address some common questions I hear when sharing this information. Why hasn't my doctor told me about these foods? The truth is, most physicians receive very little nutrition education in medical school, typically less than 25 hours in their entire training. They're experts in pharmaceutical approaches, but often haven't been trained in nutritional therapies for inflammation. Additionally, there's no profit motive for promoting foods. No company stands to make billions from you eating more hemp seeds or spirulina. How long will it take to notice a difference? This varies from person to person, but most people begin noticing subtle changes within 2 to 4 weeks of consistent daily consumption. The full benefits typically emerge after 2 to 3 months as these foods help gradually shift your body's inflammatory response. Will these foods interact with my medications? For most people, these foods are safe to consume alongside conventional treatments. However, if you're on blood thinners, immunosuppressants, or have kidney disease, it's important to consult with your healthcare provider. Spirulina, in particular, can stimulate the immune system, which may not be desirable for those on certain immunosuppressive drugs. Can I take supplements instead of eating the actual foods? While supplements are convenient, research consistently shows that whole foods provide benefits that isolated supplements cannot. The synergistic effect of all the compounds in these foods working together appears to provide greater benefit than any single extracted component. That said, high-quality supplements can be a useful addition if consuming the whole foods is challenging for you. Let me share a story that illustrates the power of these foods. Maria, a 67-year-old grandmother with osteoarthritis in her hands, had reached the point where she could no longer knit, an activity she'd loved her entire life and her primary way of creating gifts for her family. The joint pain and stiffness had robbed her of this cherished activity. After learning about these plant proteins, Maria began incorporating all three into her daily routine. She was particularly diligent about adding hemp seeds to her morning oatmeal and spirulina to her afternoon smoothie. Within 2 months, she noticed enough improvement in her hand mobility and reduction in pain that she was able to return to knitting for short periods. 6 months later, she completed a baby blanket for her newest grandchild, something she'd thought would never be possible again. Stories like Maria's aren't unusual. I've heard from thousands of people who've incorporated these foods and experienced significant improvements in their quality of life. Not miracle cures, I want to be clear about that, but meaningful reductions in pain and increases in mobility that make daily life more enjoyable. Now let's talk about combining these powerful plant proteins for maximum impact. I've developed what I call the Arthritis Relief Bowl, a simple meal that incorporates all three of our star ingredients plus additional anti-inflammatory foods. Start with a base of cooked quinoa, which adds even more protein. Add half an avocado for healthy fats that further fight inflammation. Sprinkle on 2 tablespoons each of hemp seeds and pumpkin seeds. Top with roasted vegetables like sweet potatoes, broccoli, and red bell peppers, which contribute antioxidants that help fight oxidative stress in the joints. Finally, drizzle with a dressing made from olive oil, lemon juice, and a 1/4 teaspoon of spirulina. This single meal delivers over 20 grams of plant protein along with a powerful dose of anti-inflammatory compounds that target arthritis pain from multiple angles. It's delicious, satisfying, and many of my clients report feeling a noticeable difference in their pain levels when they eat this bowl regularly. Beyond the physical benefits, there's something empowering about taking an active role in managing your arthritis through food choices. When pain makes you feel helpless, finding ways to improve your condition through daily actions restores a sense of control and hope. I want to address another common concern: the cost of incorporating these foods. Quality hemp seeds, spirulina, and even organic pumpkin seeds aren't always inexpensive. If budget is a concern, I recommend starting with pumpkin seeds, which tend to be the most affordable. Even implementing just one of these foods consistently can make a difference. Also, consider buying in bulk when possible. Many online retailers offer significant discounts on larger quantities of hemp seeds and spirulina powder. Since these foods have a long shelf life when stored properly, buying larger amounts can save money over time. Let's also talk about some common mistakes people make when adding these foods to their diets. The first is expecting overnight results. These foods work by gradually shifting your body's inflammatory processes. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Consistency over time is much more important than the amount you consume on any given day. Another mistake is not considering the quality of these foods. With hemp seeds, look for organic varieties when possible, as hemp plants are particularly effective at absorbing toxins from soil. For spirulina, quality matters tremendously. Low-quality spirulina may contain contaminants or have lower levels of active compounds. Look for brands that test for purity and potency. For pumpkin seeds, raw and unsalted varieties preserve more of the beneficial nutrients. If you prefer them roasted, do it yourself at a low temperature to preserve the delicate omega fatty acids. Something I haven't mentioned yet, but that amplifies the benefits of these plant proteins, is proper hydration. Water plays a crucial role in joint health, helping to flush inflammatory compounds from the body and keeping the synovial fluid that lubricates your joints at optimal levels. Aim to drink half your body weight in ounces of water daily when implementing this arthritis relief plan. I also want to touch on the importance of reducing inflammatory foods while adding these beneficial ones. Think of it as a two-pronged approach, adding good while removing what might be causing harm. Common food triggers for arthritis pain include sugar, refined carbohydrates, certain vegetable oils high in omega-6 fatty acids, and for some people, foods in the nightshade family like tomatoes and eggplants. I recommend keeping a simple food journal when you begin incorporating hemp seeds, spirulina, and pumpkin seeds. Note your pain and stiffness levels each morning on a scale of 1 to 10. Over time, patterns will emerge that help you identify which foods help the most and which might be triggering inflammation for you specifically. Now, I want to be transparent about something important. These plant proteins are powerful, but they work best as part of a comprehensive approach to managing arthritis. Regular gentle movement, stress management, and adequate sleep all play crucial roles in controlling inflammation. Think of these foods as foundational supports that make your other arthritis management strategies more effective. When your baseline inflammation is lower thanks to these nutritional powerhouses, physical therapy exercises become more effective, stress management techniques work better, and even medications can sometimes work more efficiently. I found that a 10-minute gentle yoga routine each morning, focused specifically on joint mobility, pairs perfectly with a breakfast that includes hemp seeds. The combination of movement and nutrition seems to have a synergistic effect, reducing morning stiffness more effectively than either approach alone. Similarly, the magnesium in pumpkin seeds supports better sleep quality, which in turn reduces inflammation. Many arthritis sufferers find themselves caught in a vicious cycle where pain disrupts sleep, and poor sleep increases pain sensitivity. Breaking this cycle by improving sleep quality can be transformative. Let me share another success story that illustrates this comprehensive approach. James, a 58-year-old with psoriatic arthritis, had been struggling with painful flares despite being on prescription medications. After learning about these plant proteins, he began incorporating all three into his daily routine while also committing to a regular walking program and evening meditation practice. Within 3 months, James reported that his flares had decreased in both frequency and severity. When he did experience flares, they lasted days rather than weeks. 6 months in, during a checkup with his rheumatologist, his inflammatory markers had decreased significantly, and his doctor was able to reduce one of his medication dosages. What struck me about James's story was his comment that for the first time in years, he no longer identified primarily as a person with arthritis. The condition was still present but no longer dominated his life or defined his identity. This psychological shift is something I've witnessed repeatedly. When people experience a reduction in chronic pain, it often leads to a profound change in how they view themselves and their future. Possibilities open up that had previously seemed closed off. Simple pleasures return: gardening without dreading the next day's pain, playing an instrument, or just being able to open jars without assistance. As we wrap up, I want to emphasize that incorporating these 3 plant-based proteins, hemp seeds, spirulina, and pumpkin seeds, isn't about following a rigid protocol. It's about adding powerful, natural supports that help your body fight inflammation more effectively. Start where you are. If adding all 3 seems overwhelming, begin with just 1. If consuming them daily feels like too much, aim for 4 times a week. Any amount of these foods will provide some benefit, and you can build from there. Remember that healing isn't linear. You may have days when your arthritis pain flares despite doing everything right. This doesn't mean the approach isn't working. It means that arthritis is complex and influenced by many factors, including weather changes, stress levels, and even the amount of sleep you got the night before. The goal isn't perfection but progress, fewer bad days, more good days, and an overall upward trend in your quality of life. I encourage you to give these plant-based proteins a genuine try for at least 3 months. Keep track of your progress, noting changes in morning stiffness, range of motion, and pain levels. Many people find that the improvements are so gradual they don't notice them day to day, but looking back over several months reveals significant positive changes. If you're currently working with healthcare providers for your arthritis, keep them informed about the dietary changes you're making. Many doctors are becoming more open to complementary approaches, especially when they see positive results in their patients. I truly believe that the future of arthritis care lies in this integrative approach, combining the best of conventional medicine with evidence-based nutritional strategies. These 3 plant proteins represent just the beginning of what's possible when we harness the power of food as medicine. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this information empowers you to take a more active role in managing your arthritis pain naturally. Remember, your joints may have been speaking to you through pain for years. Now is the time to speak back, with every bite you take and every seed you sprinkle. Here's to less pain, more mobility, and a life where arthritis takes a back seat to the activities and people you love. The power to transform your experience with arthritis is quite literally in your hands and on your plate. If you found this information helpful, please share it with someone else who might be suffering. The simple act of passing along knowledge about these 3 plant-based proteins could change someone's life, just as it changed mine. Until next time, this is Your Name, wishing you pain-free days ahead.